understand how this anointing works. So, to finish my point. And so really my point was this. Let me get to it, because basically I really flowed into what I said, which was we were dealing with wisdom. I didn't want to go there first, but I started going there and said my notes. It's wisdom. Now watch this now, because I have to reverse it, because really I had something before the wisdom part. I ended up flowing into that first, but it was something before the wisdom, okay? To get to the wisdom part. So I have to do reverse on you. Watch this. The part that really was supposed to be, to get to the wisdom part, was I was going to deal with decisions. Okay now. Alright, here we go. And this is how it's supposed to go. Whenever you, now watch this now, this is going to sound kind of hard, but whenever you or I make decisions, watch this, in the things of God, there has to be a form of resistance against it. Hear me now. Not saying in every case, not saying it's going to flow smooth, don't get me wrong. A lot of things is going to flow smooth, okay? It don't mean everything. But what I'm saying, in a lot of things, okay? Will have to be some form of resistance. Because remember, in the resistance, there's always what we call a push, which is perseverance. When we persevere, it gives us insight, wisdom, and it also gives us a spiritual push in the anointing. So when we do that, what it does, it begins to birth us to a place of tenacity in the anointing. And tenacity means I'm going to make it no matter what. I'm going to go forth in God no matter what. If I have to go to the depths of this or to the depths of that, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to go forth in God no matter what. If that's the case, watch this. It gives me wisdom because the resistance that I felt now teaches me how to deal with it differently the next time around. It is something similar. That's the wisdom you get. So you get the wisdom after going through the resistance of what you was trying to do that was right and pure. You said, this is right and pure. Oh, again, you know how being right and pure. Well, how do you mean this is a pure act and I'm doing something out of purity and it's out of the right motive? It got nothing to do with that. You can do things out of the right motive all day long. You do things out of purity all day long. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with your anointing being trained in the midst of what you do in purity. So a lot of times people think, well, how could this be? You know what? It don't make no sense. This is the devil. And a lot of times it's not even the devil. Meaning it is the devil in the sense of him doing it, but it's God allowing it to train you in the sense of understanding how to let your anointing receive resistance to build greater in your anointing. So this is where a lot lose it right there. Right there, they said, you know what? How can this be? And I'm trying to make a decision in the things of God, and I'm getting this kind of resistance. This must be the devil. You know what? Let it be. I'm done. And God said, you missed it right there, because that was where the wisdom was going to come, because I was going to give you wisdom on how to handle it the next time, because I was trying to show you something and give you insight. We keep missing this. We keep missing the insight. God's trying to give us insight. He's trying to give us insight and wisdom. That's what he's trying to give us. But it's going to come through understanding the decision process that we make, that why it receives resistance. Why it receives resistance. Yeah, you can get frustrated. Leaders, saints, brothers, sisters, deacon, missionary, whatever the title may be. This assistant, brother-in-law, it don't matter. Because what happens is, we have to learn that. If we don't learn it, then what happens is every form of resistance we get and trying to go forth in the things of God will make us feel like, you know what, forget it. Forget it. But God said, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to give you wisdom. Because if I'm going to ever use you as a son and as a daughter to help minister to others who can be coming along in the ministry, how are you going to tell them something that you kept giving up and you kept saying, forget it? We're going to have this wisdom, but we don't understand what it takes to get wisdom. You get wisdom through actually having the knowledge you have, the sensibility you have, the heart you have, the mind you have, to be tried and resisted against, to be able to persevere past that, to be able to gain the wisdom. Let's move on to the next one. Let's deal with the finances. Let's deal with the finances. See, people that's going to be rich and be blessed by God have to first learn stewardship in the anointing based on the riches that they're going to eventually have through what the less that they have now. See, in other words, it means this. See, we can, oh, God, I'm going to be a millionaire. Okay. But until we learn how to stay out of Walmart. See, it's a simple. He that is ruler in little should be rulers in what? Much. Do you know that principle applies to everything we do? That applies to everything we do. Now I'm just using finances here because we can deal with that issue all the way across the board in everything we do. But we're dealing with finances right now, and what we got to understand is there has to be resistance. Because well, I'm going to tell you something. Whenever you have financial struggles, and the Spirit of God is allowing this trial to come up on your finances, that's the place where God's trying to purify, to birth for a greater level of the anointing to handle money. Watch this now. Because what he's trying to teach is greater discretion. Because what he's saying is, if I give you more, will you have greater discretion in the anointing? In the area of finance. There's an anointing on everything we do. There's an anointing behind spending money and working with money and using money. There's an anointing behind that. But if we don't never gain the spiritual insight to it, then what happens is we still keep the lower level thinking mindset, where we always just ready to do something because we want to do something. And what happens with that, we never gain the insight we need to gain. Remember something, the resistance is to teach us. It's not to hurt us. It's not to hurt us. And so some people, I'll be honest with you, some people are afraid to actually go there. You know why? Because they don't want to be called a tightwad. They're afraid to go there because they know you're just tripping. You know what? Joy life. Don't get me wrong, true, you do. Listen, I'm all for that. But whether it's she, he, whether it's both, whether it's one, it don't matter. You can't be afraid to be called a tightwad. Because sometimes in a marriage, especially in a marriage, the wife doesn't spend the husband on. The husband doesn't spend the wife on. See? And God's trying to teach both of them, and they're still not coming together to understand what God's trying to say. You see the point? And so what God is saying is, this is what God is saying. I'll tell you what God is saying. God said, I'm still trying to teach you how to enjoy life and spend a little too to enjoy life, but I'm still trying to teach both of you how to hold back respectfully. And that's what he's trying to do. But the resistance is to teach the revelation and give the insight of how to handle it. Because I'm going to tell you something, because you and I both know that anybody who's married got to be in unity pertaining to their money. Y'all don't be in unity. I mean, for God to truly bless, I'm not saying he ain't going to have a bless, because we understand the mercy, abide, and reign just as well as under. We understand he's still going to bless. God's supposed to bless. We understand all that. We're not talking about, we're talking about elevation right now. We're talking about the greatness. We're talking about the highest realm, okay? So when we say that, we understand that the parameters already applied through God's mercy, okay? But what I'm saying is there has to be unity. See, when he could understand that point she's trying to make and not spending that money because he want to spend it. I'm serious. When the point she could understand, when he said don't spend the money when she want to spend it. So when the point can be understood, then you're getting somewhere. Because what God is saying is you're not coming in the oneness in your mind. See, because the oneness in the mind is your mind got, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If God can really get his people on one accord in their mind, I'm talking about married couples, on one accord pertaining to their money in their mind, they will be in their service somewhere, and they can have $1 million. And one can write it, the Lord will give home, they go separate places. And one can write a check for $150,000, and the other one can be on the other side and feel the exact same number, and it'll be totally in the spirit. And if they meet each other out, and they look at each other, give each other eye, because they're in such a oneness in the spirit and in the mind pertaining to the marriage and their finances. And When it comes to such a oneness, when the Spirit speaks, it won't be a struggle. It won't be a battle. You sure you heard that? I don't know now. That's a lot of money. See, let me tell you something. Because we're not really in oneness. When you're in oneness, the Spirit will speak and both will receive it. And there'll be a peace about it because you've come in oneness about that. That's just one arena. That's just one arena. But we're still going to deal with the area of resistance in the general way. So we're not just talking about America. We will talk about it in a general way. So now, the resistance comes to birth us forth an agreement level of the anointing and insight pertaining to how to handle money. Because I'm telling you what God's will really is. God's will is really to just pour riches on his people, but he can't. He can't. I mean, he can keep his people afloat. He can keep his people somewhat blessed. But I'm talking about riches, he can't. Oh, you want me to repeat that? God's will is to pour riches on his people, but in reality, because the condition of where God's people mind and attitude and behavior is, he can't. So what he's doing, he's keeping his people afloat out of mercy because they have not gotten the insight and wisdom and revelation and based on the anointing and based on elevating and how to handle money and receive greater riches. That's just the way it is. And there's a very few that God can trust in that arena and the totality of it. And if there's someone who he can trust with it, even if there's something he can't trust with it, there's still certain other areas that need to be blessed before they receive it. They can be trusted with the money, but there's some other areas that need to be blessed first. He may be able to trust the wife, but can't trust the husband. Maybe trust the husband, can't trust the wife. Oh yeah, let's be real now. Let's be real. Oh yeah. And that's the way it is a lot of times. And someone who's single, they're not strengthened enough now. Because all it takes is a nice woman. And she got that. All it takes is a nice man, and he got that. So she's not strengthened yet. She's not sleeping around, she's not doing none of that, but she's not strengthened yet to receive that kind of riches as it's single. Because all it takes is a nice man who's half talking God. Because God knows in that woman that she's the type that give her last penny to someone she loves. There's the respect and nothing wrong with that, but if God knows that about her, and that's a negative part that needs to be strengthened to have a type of general, respectable water gets that she can know how to operate and have tons of money and not be duped by a man. Glory to God. Yeah. And there's some single men who can't have it. They can't have it. Because if they do, all it takes is a nice woman. And when I say this, y'all hear me, that don't mean sex. That does not mean sex. It don't mean sleeping around. It means just the sensibility and the kind person that they are, the loving person that they are. That's all it means. God said that part of you can be negative in some sense because all it takes is that nice man to come, and before you know it, you give up everything. You turn against the whole family. Turn against the whole family. All it takes is that nice man. And there's some men like that. And God said, I can't give you riches. Not in the way I want to, because if I do, you can't be focused enough. Because let me tell you something. Let me give it to y'all wrong. Let me give it to y'all wrong. If the person is single, a man, and he's not strengthened enough, and he's in the kingdom, he's sold out to his church, and he's sold out to the king, he's sold out to the things of God, watch this. And God give him a ton of money. If he end up dating a selfish woman, all that shuts down.
Amen.
Vice versa. If it's a giving, loving, same thing with a woman. And end up dating a selfish man, all that shuts down. God knows what he's doing. He knows why some single people can't handle all the money right now. It's many reasons. why a single woman or a single man. He knew why some married couples can. It got to do with both of them. Sometimes it can be both. A lot of times it's one. He said, no, what until you get strengthened, man of God towards your wife. Till you get strengthened, woman of God towards your husband. Strengthened means this. Baby, we need to learn how to come in unity with this. That don't mean as a wife you're disrespecting your husband. It means you're telling him we need to come in unity about our finances. The woman can't always give in because the man suffers. But you know they end up having that curse on the house. And vice versa. Because you know men do the same thing too. Okay, alright. What do you want? No, it's not whatever you want. No! And this is why